And so the whole point of this dinner tonight is really for us to start that conversation of like, what are the new opportunities? The things that we've wanted to build over the last years that we were told, you can't do that. You're not allowed to do that in America. You have to go overseas and build it somewhere else. That day is over. We're building here in America. We want to build for America. And so we want to bring together some of the leaders, some of the founders, some of the largest crypto projects around the world, people who want to build in America and want to see crypto succeed. What an incredible time to be here. What an incredible time to be building here in America. Jerry Maguire.
Jerry! Fucking AI is crawling up my ass, Rod. You just tell me, what can I do for
I
you?
got so much AI up my ass, I couldn't take a shit this morning. But this is about something else entirely.
Are you ready, Jerry?
I'm ready.
Just want to make sure you're ready, brother.
Here it is. Show me the token.
Oh! Say it with me one time, Jerry. Show me the token.
Oh, Jerry, don't let some eggs in liquidity, chump. Say it like you're dating the deaf sister.
Yeah, show me the token.
Louder like a teacher at ape and heat.
Show me the token.
Yes. Louder.
Show me the token.
That's it, Jerry, come on.
Show me the token.
But let's check if you're really ready.
Show me the token.
You love buybacks? I love buybacks!
Show me the token.
And I love America!
I love America.
Who's your motherfucker, Jerry?
You my motherfucker.
What you gonna do, Jerry?
Show me the token.
Congrats, Jerry. Now go get your OGN.
Back in my day, we didn't have buybacks, we had war bonds. Now I just stake my OGN and let the DAO fight the wars for me. The OGN DAO has started buybacks, and with every purchase, I get a share of the rewards. Now I get to go to Denny's 5 times per week, but I still only tip 10%. God bless that little buyback bot.
Tipping 10% with all that buyback yield? You're going to hell, Dolores.
And so the whole point of this dinner tonight is really for us to start that conversation of like, what are the new opportunities? The things that we've wanted to build over the last years that we were told, you can't do that. You're not allowed to do that in America. You have to go overseas and build it somewhere else. That day is over. We're building here in America. We want to build for America. And so we want to bring together some of the leaders, some of the founders, some of the largest crypto projects around the world, people who want to build in America and want to see crypto succeed. what an incredible time to be here. What an incredible time to be building here in America.
Jerry Maguire!
Jerry! Fucking AI is crawling up my ass, Rod. You just tell me what can I do?
I got so much AI up my ass, I couldn't take a shit this morning. But this is about something else entirely.
Are you ready, Jerry?
I'm ready.
Just want to make sure you're ready, brother.
Here it is. Show me the token.
Oh! Say it with me one time, Jerry. Show me the token.
Oh, Jerry, don't like some exit liquidity chump. Say it like you're dating the deaf sister.
Show me the token.
Louder like a teacher at 8-bit heat.
Show me the token.
Yes. Louder.
Show me the token.
That's it, Jerry. Come on.
Show me the token.
But let's check if you're really ready.
Show me the token.
Do you love buybacks? I love buybacks. Show me the token. And I love America. I love America. Who's your motherfucker, Jerry? You my motherfucker. What you gonna do, Jerry? Show me the token. Congrats, Jerry. Now go get your OGN.
Back in my day, we didn't have buybacks, we had war bonds. Now I just stake my OGN and let the DAO fight the wars for me. The OGN DAO has started buybacks, and with every purchase, I get a share of the rewards. Now I get to go to Denny's 5 times per week, but I still only tip 10%. God bless that little buyback bot.
Tipping 10% with all that buyback yield? You're going to hell, Dolores.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Alpha Access. This is our new live stream at Origin Protocol. We're doing on a weekly basis. We got a banger show for you guys again today. Thanks for you all for tuning in. Just the second one so far. So this week we have Euler Labs joining us. But before we get into that, I'm going to give you guys some updates on Origin Protocol as we do every week. And if you guys tune into our community call, just a quick update. It's not going to be next Monday. Typically it's every Monday, first Monday of the month, but Labor Day is next Monday. So we're going to do, I think September 8th is going to be the date. So just a heads up there. But I'm going to go in, give you guys an update first on OGN and then a few of Origin's products. And then we'll bring Euler up onto the stage, talk about Euler Finance, get into some of their new products, Euler Earn and Euler Swap. But let's get into it. Let me share my screen. We're going to start with OGN, and then we're going to talk a little bit about some product updates. So you guys can see my screen here. We actually just had a marketing site refresh, so a little bit different vibe today on Origin's website. Pulled up originprotocol.com/OGN to go through some OGN updates. Let's start here with the top line metrics. Staking APY is still really strong for max locked OGN. We're at 49.6% APY, and that's on max locked OGN. If you guys aren't familiar with our staking rewards program, it's 100% funded by protocol fees. So no new token emissions in this APY, and we're seeing almost 50%. So that's great to see. And we have about 37% of the entire OGN supply stake. So we're seeing more and more stakers get into OGN right now with staking APYs increasing with our new buyback program. So let's dive into a few of these metrics, and then we'll go over talk about some protocol updates. So we have these metrics. You guys can see these on CMC CoinMarketCap. Nothing too special here. But if you want to check out here instead of CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, you can always just come to originprotocol.com/OGN. This data, a little bit more interesting, something you won't find on other platforms about our OGN buyback campaign. So you can track how much OGN has been bought back since the start of this campaign. This started at the very tail end of June. It's been going on for about 2 to 3 months now. But you can see this week we did cross 22 million OGN bought back. So some impressive numbers here. That represents about 3.3% of the circulating supply bought from the market. And if you analyze that, we're tracking to buy back about 75 million OGN over the course of the next 12 months. So you can see the line was relatively flat. We did some buybacks in the past for OETH and OUSD, but it was about 50% of those protocol fees going towards buybacks. Now it's 100% of those fees, and it's from not only OETH and OUSD, but also OS, our liquid staking token on Sonic, our ARM products, Super OETH, and basically everything Origin creates. Now 100% of those fees are going to fund staking rewards, and even if you're not staking, the protocol is buying back the OGN on the open market. So it's benefiting everybody who's involved in the Origin community. But as you can see, we were hovering around 10 million OGN bought back at the start of July. We're up to 22 million now, and that number keeps ticking up. So pretty cool to see. There's some other metrics that we can view on originprotocol.com/OGN. Feel free to follow along yourself on the website. But just want to dive into protocol revenue pretty quickly here. So you can see right now over the past 180 days, we're tracking at about $8.1 million of protocol revenue in USD. And it's been ticking up. So this has been really good to see. A lot of this has to do with ETH appreciating. As you may know, a lot of our TVL is in ETH denominated products. So OETH is our biggest product. It's our liquid staking token. It has somewhere around $150 to $200 million of TVL. Super OETH is also tied to ETH. So as ETH appreciates, protocol fees increase. And that's what we're seeing here. So back mid-July, we were pacing at about $45,000 of protocol revenue generated per day. Now we're sitting around 63, 65,000. So solid increase here, going to be following along with this chart. And this will give you an idea of what those staking rewards will look like and how much buybacks the protocol does. So some useful information here. If you guys want to stake OGN, you can do so on the Origin dApp. Like I said, max locked OGN is nearing 50% APY, all funded from protocol buybacks, no new token emissions. So seeing some pretty strong progress here, and we're also seeing a lot more stakes. So we had a pretty high staking rate to begin with. So this chart doesn't really tell the full story, but if you look at the nominal value, when we started that campaign, we were around 480 million OGN staked. Now we are at 526 million. So like I said, we just updated this website today. I think we need to redo this calculation. This is a bit low on the amount currently staked. I do believe this percentage is right, though, right around 37% of the total supply. But yeah, at the beginning of the program, we were at 480 million OGN staked. We're at 525 now. So we've seen about 45 million OGN get taken off the market and locked for OGN staking rewards. So it's sort of a double benefit, right? We've bought back, it looks like 22 million OGN so far, but we've also had 45 million OGN get locked from the open market. So we're seeing new stakers come in to earn that staking APY. That's held really strong so far. Also following this number here, currently at 49.6%. So that's our update on OGN for today. We'll do another update next week, see where these staking APYs are, if we've gotten any big locks, go through protocol revenue again, pretty much everything we did today. But now I want to dive into a few quick updates before we get Euler Finance on the stage to talk about some of their products and some of the collaboration that we've done recently. So the first news that I wanted to talk about is we've had a digital asset treasury come into Origin Ether. We made this announcement this week, really exciting for us. ETH Strategy is an on-chain digital asset treasury that has acquired Origin Ether. You can see this thread on our timeline. And we go through some of the different features that make Origin Ether unique. So something we're really proud of is we have the best on-chain liquidity to exit OETH. So this is kind of like a hidden fee when you're getting into a liquid staking token. Is typically it's really easy to get in 1-to-1 for ETH, no matter if it's staked ETH, Rocket Pool ETH, the list goes on. But where there are hidden fees, and this is really important for large-scale investors like digital asset treasuries, is when you're trying to exit from the liquid staking token. So you can see Origin Ether here has really great swap rates. Even at 1,000 ETH, you're losing less than 0.75 ETH in slippage. So you can see really, really strong rates for swaps out of OETH. And that's something that we've been really focused on lately, getting seamless swaps both into and out of OETH, which is one of the reasons why that ETH Strategy invested into OETH, is it's just very seamless to get in and out of. Another unique feature, if you guys haven't heard, is our yield forwarding feature, which makes yield programmable. So you don't need to just be earning liquid staking yield. You can actually use it to incentivize liquidity pools. So we've seen a lot of adoption for this feature on Sonic with OS. We've seen some as well for Origin Ether, but it provides flexibility for yield. So say you're a large scale investor, maybe you're a protocol that has a governance token and you want to earn extra incentives on a liquidity pool, you can pair with Origin Ether and your governance token, or maybe a stable coin, and then forward the yield, the liquid staking rewards from Origin Ether directly into the gauge, which incentivizes liquidity pools. We have this live on Curve as well as a lot of other DEXs, both on Ethereum and on Sonic. So those two features really big for large scale investors. Some of the reasons why ETH Strategy has onboarded OETH, and of course our top-notch security with SSV network and decentralized validator technology also plays a role in that. So you can check out this full announcement on our timeline. Really excited to see that ETH Strategy has onboarded Origin Ether, and we're exploring more with them. So we might drop a little bit of alpha on that later on in this call, but I'm going to leave it at that for now. Just one or two more updates before we dive into our conversation with Euler. Let me go to the next one. So we got a pretty big integration this week, actually a couple from Pendle. Pendle integrated Origin's automated redemption managers. So this is pretty interesting because it unlocks a new use case on Pendle. So you're able to speculate on staked ETH volatility through this market. If you're not aware of what the Origin arm is, essentially it earns yield by arbitraging staked ETH volatility. So it buys staked ETH off of the market when it drifts from peg and captures that spread by redeeming it 1-to-1 through Lido's withdrawal queue. So you can imagine if you get in on Pendle, you could speculate on those yields by buying YT, or maybe staked ETH drifts from peg and the arm starts earning really high yields, then you could lock that in until maturity, which is in December. So I'm keeping an eye on this. I definitely want to join in on this opportunity, and we're seeing other people do so as well. I'll pull up the market really quickly just to show you guys what's happening here. It's live for both our arm on Ethereum, which has processed nearly $2 billion of volume, as well as our arm on Sonic for OS. So both have around a couple $100,000 of liquidity right now. Like I said, these just launched this week, so we're expecting more liquidity in the coming weeks for these projects. But right now, fixed APY is looking pretty low relative to what the arm is earning. It's 3.79% for PT, which means, you know, there could be an opportunity to be buying YT right now. Obviously not financial advice, just something I'm thinking about is YT implied yield 3.7%. We'll look at the ARM stats here in a second, but the ARM has been generating more yield than this, and staked ETH has been pretty stable lately. And when the ARM prints is when staked ETH drifts from peg. So it could be a opportunity here. even just to provide liquidity if you want exposure to both YT and PT. But really interesting market. We haven't seen something like this on Pendle yet, where it's actually a directional bet on the peg of these different LSTs. So a lot different than a lot of other Pendle markets. So really excited to see where this goes. Just a last note on this, I'm pulling up originprotocol.com's analytics page just to go over the ARM. So the ARM has had really nice growth over the past month. We were at $6 million of TVL at the beginning of the month, and now we're at $16 million of TVL. So really big growth here. And part of this reason is because we didn't upgrade to the ARM. So when staked ETH remains tightly pegged to ETH, we route idle ETH that's in the vault to Morpho. So we're earning lending yield on ETH through the ARM when staked ETH is pegged to ETH really tightly and there's not as many arbitrage opportunities. But I also wanted to note the APY. So APY over the 30-day trailing average is 5.7% right now. But what's pretty interesting is it's been really volatile, and that's because the yield opportunities arise whenever staked ETH drifts from peg. So it's not going to be super consistent. You can expect yields to be more consistent now that we have a lending market integration and ETH will always be productive. But you can see when staked ETH drifts from peg, I know this happened like mid-July, there was a really big deposit to Lido's withdrawal queue. So staked ETH, I wouldn't say depeg, but drift from peg a little bit. The ARM was able to earn 40% APY on that day. So you can imagine there's a lot of opportunity on Pendle if this happens again, if the ARM starts printing from staked ETH arbitrage to lock in high yields or speculate on YT. So I'm following along with this. Really cool to see the growth of the ARM. Again, all of the protocol fees generated from this product are used to buy back OGN. So everything goes back to the Origin community. You can see the protocol revenue chart here in ETH and in OUSD. It's been picking up as of late. But yeah, just wanted to cover the ARM. Really excited for that Pendle market integration. But let me stop sharing my screen. We're going to bring up Euler. We're going to talk about a few new products that Euler's been building. Also touch on some of the collaborations we've done in the past. So Kav, welcome in. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining.
Hey Ryan, can you hear me well?
Yeah, can hear you perfect.
Perfect. Thank you for doing this. It's amazing. I didn't know about some of the updates that you were sharing on the stream, so that's nice to hear. I would love to get into what Euler is doing, introduce Euler. There's a lot of exciting things that are happening at Euler. Let me know where you want me to start.
Okay, yeah, I think it would be great maybe if you just introduced yourself, your role at Euler, and then maybe we start with just a high-level pitch. What is Euler Finance? What do you guys do? And then we can dive into the weeds, maybe share some markets, what you guys are working on now, and some of those new products that I mentioned at the beginning of the call.
Perfect. So I'm with Euler Labs. We build Euler Finance. So that's Euler Finance, which has our lending borrowing protocol, which is the modular lending super app. So you can build any kind of lending market on that. Then there's Euler Swap, which is our DEX, which reuses the liquidity from the underlying lending vaults. And then we just launched with Euler Earn this week, which is like a meta vault to aggregate these strategies. So it's like a passive lending product. You deposit once, and then like a risk manager is sort of curating that for you, rebalancing the money for you. So that's what we do.
Awesome. Thank you for that intro. Let me actually just share my screen, give people an idea of what to expect from the Euler app, and then maybe we can get into some specific markets. So I see my screen shared now. Let's start with some Origin products. I know we're pretty deeply integrated with Euler, so I think that would be a good place to start. And then we can go from there, talk about some of your new products, maybe some markets you're excited about. Conv, I might need your help just navigating this. I think we can search the assets here. Let's start on, am I on ETH right now? Maybe we start on ETH. So I know we have wrapped OETH on Euler. You want to maybe talk a little bit about this market, what it does, maybe the looping strategy for those not familiar with looping LSTs, how you can approach that, what to look for, that sort of thing. Maybe we start here.
For sure. So I see this is a cluster by Maybe Capital, right, which is like a risk manager. And I see that they have used this as a collateral against ETH. So the strategy here is depositing, WOE ETH, looping that against WETH. So now you earn all that extra yield that there is from OETH and any sort of, points, information, all of that, if there is any. So you earn that, and this is something that you can sort of do in a one click from Euler. So if you go to strategies, you can sort of go that. But I don't see there's much liquidity. But I think Origin and Euler are working on that to get that up and running, and also with Euler Swap as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And okay, let me see. I was just about to ask you how to switch markets or networks. That was going to be a little bit of an embarrassing question, but I figured it out myself. So we're here. Want to just check out. I believe we also have a Super OETH market. So yeah, we actually have a couple here. Wrap Super OETH B, and then this one. I guess these markets differ in just the curators. Then is that right?
Yes, I mean it's a different underlying asset, and I think the cluster is also very different. So you can see that this can be borrowed and this can be used as collateral, and this is also an Euler base market. So it's created by Euler DAO and Gauntlet. So it's a little bit of a different structure, but yes, the underlying strategy remains the same. And this is something that Euler is super useful for. Like you can leverage, you can open these positions in one click and also close these positions very easily. And all of that is just available on Euler.
Awesome. So I'm seeing here supply APY is 3.5%. Borrow APY is also 3.5%. So does that net out to zero if I'm doing a looping strategy, or are there more considerations here?
No, so you'll be looping it against another asset, right? So for example, you would probably loop this against another ETH derivative. So if you can scroll down, like you'll see that there are other ETH derivatives, right? So if you click on can be used as collateral, the second tab, yes. And then you'll loop this against probably one of these, and you'll be paying the borrow fee on them. So that's how it works.
Okay, so if I'm looping, I would want to take a look at these assets, assuming I'm comfortable using any of these, which are all pretty much blue chip LSTs. I can check out the borrow rate and then find the one maybe with the lowest borrow rate and then use that.
Correct. So for example, the strategy that you opened is with CBETH, and the ROE on this is 3.5%, right? And you will find that there's different ROE with different kind of assets because of utilization and all those things. But yes, you can really leverage that up and improve your return on this.
Okay, very interesting. So you guys also have a multiply feature. I'm assuming this is for looping. Makes it a lot easier.
Correct. So if you just add some in, you can loop, and this creates the whole position in one click. You don't have to sort of go anywhere else. You can do all of that on Euler.
Interesting. Yeah, that's very helpful. I know we're on base right now, but especially for Ethereum, to just do that all in one click instead of having to manage a bunch of different transactions. So that's definitely useful. I know we get a lot of utilization on markets where looping is profitable. I'm trying to find a good example right now here with Wrapped ETH and Wrapped Super OETH B. You can multiply your assets. So if you guys aren't familiar with looping strategies, basically what you're doing is you're supplying an LST as collateral, in this case, Wrapped Super OETH B, and then lending against it to gain liquidity, and then looping it, which means you're depositing that again and then taking the spread on that yield to amplify your rewards. So a lot of flexibility, it seems, with Euler Finance. You can choose a lot of different assets, figure out which has the lowest borrow rates to profit from those spreads, which has the best LTV. It looks like on these markets, max LTV is pretty consistent at 78%, which, so I don't have to do the math, I'll just go over to the multiply calculator. Max leverage is 4.5x. And since both of these assets are correlated to ETH, there's relatively low liquidation risk. I'm not exactly sure on the technical specs of the market, but I know a lot of protocols do peg Wrap Super OETH 1-to-1, and Wrap Super OETH B appreciates against ETH. So should be a relatively low risk strategy. Obviously, you're going to want to monitor the borrow rates, the max ROE, and just the inherent yield on Super OETH to make sure it doesn't go negative. But in terms of like market risk, obviously it's pretty low. Smart contract risk, relatively low, with Euler as a blue chip protocol with, you could tell us how much TVL you guys have. I know it's a ton. but it's a very proven protocol. So we see a lot of serious users go in, loop, wrap Super ETH. We also have other markets though. We have some on Sonic. I wanted to just briefly touch on one, which was our PT wrapped OS market. So let me switch over to Sonic and talk a little bit about composability, because this market actually uses Pendle wrapped OS tokens, which is pretty interesting. Yeah. So here it is. This one's from May 2025. So this one actually is probably outdated. We might need to get the new Pendle market up. Yeah, so this one's a little bit dated, but we could probably work on getting the new one up. We have new Pendle markets for wrapped OS. But this is a little bit more interesting, especially if you're a passive investor. As I was mentioning, like, you're going to want to monitor the yield that you're generating, the borrow rates, all of that sort of thing. Using Pendle makes it a little bit easier because you're locking in a fixed rate, you know what you're earning, and then you just have to monitor the borrow rates. So that can be helpful. If you get in at a favorable time on Pendle, you could beat the inherent yield on the liquid staking token. So that's another strategy we've seen people do. But yeah, happy to see that Euler's integrated a lot of different Origin products on Sonic, on Base, on Ethereum. And hopefully we get something up for the ARM. The ARM's been growing lately, so excited to see what we do there. Really unique product, so something that we should definitely explore.
Of course, and also Euler Swap. I know that has been in works for a long time, but now that it's finally here, we're super interested to get the OE ETH pair running, and I think it would be a great pair, it'll be highly capital efficient, and you'll also see some great returns on that.
Absolutely. Do you want to tell us a bit about Euler Swap? How new is this product? This is the first time I'm hearing about it, actually.
Yeah, for sure. So it has been in works for a really long time, but we just launched with its UI, I think, 4 weeks ago. And without the UI, I think it's been live for like 6 weeks now, and we're already close to $3 billion in volume. And the UI is launched like a couple of weeks ago. So the way it works is, like I was saying in the start, it reuses the liquidity from the underlying lending vaults. So what that means is that, for example, Ryan, you have 100K USDC in your account, in your Euler account, and now you want to earn extra yield, and you also want to say provide DEX liquidity, right? So you install an Euler swap operator with say USDT, right? And now there's like a smart contract that rebalances the money between these two, which is the DEX, right? And now you earn the underlying lending yield from Euler plus the swap fees on top, right? So this is like the easy part, but where it gets really interesting is JIT. So just in time liquidity, or just in time borrow, is how you can use that 100K that you deposited, leverage that up, or say borrow against that collateral from the underlying lending vaults, and use that to service swaps. So what that means is that with that 100K, Ryan, that you put up in your Euler account, you could be servicing swaps that are, say, $1 million worth, right? And you'll be earning the swap fees on $1 million, right? So that's how it works. It's super interesting. We have been exploring a lot of use cases. A lot of new LPs are trying it out using this, right? I just tweeted about it like yesterday, about a very interesting pool, and that's earning more than 30% APR on stables. So we are very excited about bringing this to market now.
Yeah, that sounds like a great opportunity. So depositors can earn lending yield on Euler as well as trading fees from the DEX pool, if I understand correctly.
Correct.
That sounds very efficient. I'll have to check it out. Really cool. So what pools are getting the most adoption? You mentioned stable coins and 20% yield, especially. I assume these products are on mainnet, but correct me if I'm wrong. And on blue chip stable coins, let me know. I don't want to assume anything. If you want to dive into maybe those stablecoin opportunities, they sound really strong, or just whatever markets are seeing the most adoption. I'm curious to hear more.
Correct. Yeah, I think I lost you for a minute there, so let me know if I missed anything. But Euler Swap is live and fully integrated on all the chains. You can make a pool with any vault that is currently on Euler, right? And we are seeing most adoption with stables right now, with like highly correlated or correlated pairs. But that's just because that's what we focused on. Like, we don't even have a UI for uncorrelated ones. So I think
Hey, Conv, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Ryan?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
I asked you that. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry for those technical difficulties. As you know, this is our second stream, so it should be streamlined pretty soon here.
All good. Now you can hear me well, right?
Yeah, I can hear you well. I think we lost you talking about correlated pairs, stablecoin adoption on Euler Earn or Euler Swap rather.
Yeah. I was talking that we are seeing a very interesting behavior where people are leveraging and making an Euler swap pool on the stable assets, and it is super profitable. It's doing a lot of volume. I think we were the primary USDC USDT pool on Unichain, if I'm not wrong. So that is where we are seeing a lot of adoption, and we're super excited to scale that now.
Okay, so for our listeners in the audience, if they want to explore this new protocol, should they try it out on Unichain? What do you recommend? Which chains have the most adoption? I know you mentioned Unichain, but are there incentives live on any networks? Do you not need incentives because the strategy works so well alone? Yeah, give us some alpha. What would you recommend?
I would recommend making an Euler swap pool on any of Ethereum, Avalanche, Unichain base. Right? I think those networks have a lot of volume on the dexes, and I would probably try JIT, like the just-in-time liquidity that I was talking about. I think that is super interesting. And yes, incentives, yes, they are live on multiple networks, and the users can just see that on the Euler app.
Awesome. I'll have to get in the trenches, explore the different opportunities. What sort of TVL do you guys have on these pools so far? And how much capacity do you guys think you can handle before yields start to compress?
Oh, I mean, so the TVL for Euler swap is a bit hard to calculate, because like it reduces the liquidity from the Euler vault. So technically, I could say 3 billion, right? But so I can talk about volume a little bit. I think we're close to 3 billion in volume, and this is still pretty much in beta. This is we haven't even developed the full front end yet for Euler swap, right? So we're still scaling that. About the yields and about the capacity, I think, like, if you look at markets like Euler yield, which is at 700 million, we believe there's practically unlimited sort of capacity to take in more stable. So, if you want to look at the best USDC yields, I would go to like Euler yield USDC.
Awesome. I know stablecoins are really hot right now. There's a ton of demand to generate stablecoin yields. So definitely very smart to be building in that space and offering a really great product to earn. Like you said, 20% APY is stellar, especially on big stablecoins like you mentioned. Conv, do you want to talk a little bit about Euler Earn? I know we were going to mention that as well on the call, maybe give some developments there, some opportunities for people to be earning yield. Tell us a little bit about that.
For sure. So Euler Earn is our passive lending product. It's like a meta world, like I was talking about. It's like a set and easy way to just deposit money, and you don't have to sort of withdraw, move to another strategy. You can just deposit and forget about it. We just launched with it. We are close to 30 million in TVL, I think. I just checked, and I would say that if you are looking to deposit USDC, there is an Euler DAO market that's live on Ethereum right now, and we're looking to scale this and bring this to every network that we are on, and that should happen very, very soon. So that's what's happening on Euler Earn, and we just launched this week. So we're super excited to bring a lot of vaults, a lot of risk managers, and this will be like the next scaling chapter for Ethereum for Euler, and yeah.
Oh, my bad. I'll let the producer handle it. I was trying to share my screen. He's already on it.
Please go ahead.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, just wanted to show off Euler Earn for a second here. You mentioned that you just launched a week or two ago. You already have $27 million of TVL in USDC on Euler Earn's USDC market. That's really cool to see. And that's on Ethereum mainnet. Currently supply APY is at 10.3%. So pretty nice double-digit yield there. Even stronger for this Telos C Earn USDC pool. You want to explain the differences between these two? If you're looking to earn yield through Euler Earn, which one should I choose? I want to choose the 17% one because it's higher yield, but it might be the left curve answer. So let me know.
I mean, it depends on who you want to trust with capital allocation, right? So the first one is by Euler DAO. So Euler DAO manages this, and I think pretty much right now it's allocating into Euler Yield and a little bit into Prime. But if you go into the one curated by Telos, you basically trust them to make sure that they're, you are earning yield. So that's how users should make a decision, like who do they trust, how do they want to deposit. So yeah, so if you scroll down, you can look where are they supplying. So I believe this is the one that's by Telos, and they're supplying into a lot of frontier markets, right, which are these new markets which are not curated. So that's how they are allocating. But Euler USDC, Euler on USDC is very different, for example.
Okay, yeah, so I'm seeing here right now the strategy is allocated to two markets here, the Frontier Hyperwave market for USDC and the Frontier Strata market for USDC. But I assume all of these other ones that don't yet have an allocation are already whitelisted and approved. So if yield becomes stronger on these markets, what happens? Does somebody go in manually and change the allocations? Is this optimized through code? How does this work?
It's fully in control of Telos, right? Like Telos controls how they want to go about it. They have their own processes. Like I'm not sure, like they might be running a bot. They might be doing this automatically. They might have like a person who is calculating the risk and reward and doing this. So that's the beauty of Euler Earn, right? Like you leave it to the risk manager to make sure that you're earning yield, and then they could be deploying any kind of strategy to make sure that okay, this is the best risk-adjusted yield that you have.
Got it. Interesting stuff. So I'm just checking out the Euler Earn USDC market, which is managed by the Euler DAO as their capital allocator here. So it looks like right now you guys are earning through Euler Yield. You want to tell us just a little bit about the strategy behind yield generation for this this market here?
Yes. So I'll get into Euler Yield and also Euler Earn. So Euler Earn USDC, the one managed by Euler DAO, I think the primary strategy right now, is to just deposit into Euler Yield. Euler Yield is this huge market with basically correlated assets. So if you go to the lend page and you select Euler Yield, you will see USDC, USDT, and all these assets, and people carry trades or leverage trades on top of them. So trying to make money out of the leverage that we were talking about earlier, right? It's a huge market, and there is a lot of demand for stables here. So this is why if you look at the Euler Yield USDC, which you've opened up right now, it's usually hovering around 9, 10, 11% in APY, and all the Euler Earn proceeds are now coming into this Euler Yield. So this is why you see it's close to 200 million in supply.
That's awesome. Great to see the growth there. Definitely we'll keep an eye on Euler Earn. It looks like primarily the focus is stable coins right now. Do you guys have plans to expand to other assets? And if so, what's the priority looking like?
The priority looks like the majors, so ETH, BTC, stables, but then we're also looking at RWAs at Euler. We believe RWA is going to be huge, and this is like a priority at Euler. So we're looking at across assets, we're looking at across all these token issuers and RWA providers. So looking at improving our ETH supply, BTC supply, and then also the RWA side of things. So that's how we are prioritizing it at Euler.
Awesome. I know RWAs are hot. So is Bitcoin. Bitcoin yield right now, from what I've seen, is pretty difficult to generate, but there's a ton of demand for it. So somebody's going to have to come in the space and figure out how to generate compelling yield on Bitcoin. And that, could be Euler. So I'll keep an eye on that for sure. While we're talking about roadmap, we're getting to the end of the stream. It is called Alpha Access. So I want to drop a little bit of alpha. I don't know if you have any comp for us, anything to look forward to from Euler, what to keep an eye on. And then I'll take it from there.
I mean, there's a lot happening at Euler. There's a lot of new products coming. Then a lot of new markets coming. There's a lot of RWA coming. We're looking to scale Euler Swap. There's a lot in the pipeline. I think I tweeted about it yesterday that total supply is just a lagging indicator. So I mean, that's what I said in the tweets. Do with that information as you may.
Okay. And what chain do you think the RWAs are going to land on? Because that's been a big question people have been asking. Is it going to be on mainnet? Is it going to be EVM? Do you have a specific chain in mind that you want to call out?
I think Avalanche is doing really well. I think Avalanche has the S-Pedal cluster that we have, and then there's also Keyring that we just did. That is doing really well. You must check out Keyring. So I think Avalanche is doing really well on the RWA side, but of course, there are more chains that are catching up.
Okay, got to keep my eye on the Avalanche. I have been hearing a lot more about Avalanche recently. I know they have some incentives on the network and they're growing their TVL and usage right now. So definitely one to keep an eye on. Thank you for that alpha drop. On Origin side of things, let's see. We talked a lot about the ARM, so I wanted to drop a little bit about the ARM. We talked about digital asset treasuries and ETH strategy getting into OETH. We are exploring getting the ARM integrated with digital asset treasuries right now. I think I might get in trouble if I make a formal announcement, but just know the ARM TVL has been growing a lot recently, and we have some big capital allocators that are very interested in getting the ARM onboarded to their digital asset treasuries. So stay on the lookout for that. I'm hoping I can make the announcement next week. We'll see how things go, but stay tuned to our timeline. And if you guys didn't see the announcement from last week, I know Euler works with MEV Capital pretty closely. Origin also does, but MEV Capital has already made an allocation to the ARM. So we're seeing a lot more interest from large-scale investors right now on our ARM products, especially as we tokenize the Vault tokens and get those integrated in DeFi. So I'm really excited for that. I think that's probably all I can say for right now without getting in trouble. But I think this is probably a good point to just wrap up the stream. So thank you so much, Khan, for joining us. Great to learn about what Euler is doing in the space, and appreciate you guys always working closely with Origin to integrate our products. So thought this has been a great stream. Just as a reminder, if you tuned in late, our community call is going to be September 8th instead of the 1st. So be sure to join that on Discord or on X. And I'll see you guys on next Friday. Thanks so much, Conf.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. Thank you for having me.